and welcome to my storyland. Hope you like my videos. Today I'm going to take a really motivational story for you guys. Please subscribe my channel and like my video before I start my story. So now the story is Martin Luther King George. Who was Martin Luther King George? Martin Luther King George was a black American minister and leader. He saw that things were not fair in America. White people could do things that black people were not allowed to do. He wanted to change this, but he did not want to hurt anyone, like Gandhi, the great leader in India. King wanted to use non-violent disobedience. Non-violent means no killing or hurting, and disobedience means not doing what the unfair laws say you must do. Early years. Martin Luther King George was born on January 15, 1929. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia. His father, Martin Luther King, Sr., was a preacher. Both father and Sr. were named Michael King. After a trip to Germany, his father changed their name to Martin Luther King. This was because Martin Luther was a famous preacher who did many good things in Germany about 500 years ago. Martin Luther King George had one brother and one sister. Studies. As a young boy, King loved to sing. His mother was a good musician and he sang in the church chorus. He and a white boy were friends, but they were not allowed to go to the same school. This made King very sad. Later, King went to a school in Atlanta. He was famous for being able to speak well in front of people. He went he went to Morehouse College and studied religion. He thought he could help people by being a preacher. Marriage and children. When he was 24 years old, King got married. His wife's name was Carter Scott. They got married on the front lawn of her parents' house in Alabama. King and his wife had four children. Two were girls, Yolanda King and Bernice King, and two were boys, Martin Luther King III and Dexter Scott. While he was still a young father, King became a preacher at a church in Montgomery, Alabama. White and colored. At this time, in the southern part of the United States, there were many laws that were against black people. Black people were called colored. There were bathrooms for white people and bathrooms for colored people. There were even drinking fountains for white people and drinking fountains for colored people. White people were not race and colored people were another race. The laws at this time made sure that white people and colored people stay segregated and apart from each other. Riding the bus. If you were a white person, you could sit at the front of the bus, but if you were a black person, you had to sit at the back of the bus. If you were black and were sitting at the front and a white person got on the bus, you had to give up your seat and go to the back of the bus. There was a very famous and brave young black woman named Rose Parks. She lived in Montgomery, Alabama. She would not give up her seat to a white person she was taken away by the police. Buses and a bomb. Rosa Parks was black, but that did not mean that she should have to give up her seat. King and others started a boycott. A boycott means that people would use something like a bus system. This bus boycott lasted for more than 1 year. Things got very bad and King's house was bombed. Finally, the people and the boycott won. Finally, people like Rosa Parks could sit anywhere she wanted to on a Montgomery bus. Held and the bus boycott was a very good start, but King knew there was a lot of work to do. He asked many other leaders to join him to help America see that white and black people were equal. They marched this night that they all got together and walked from one place to another. People could see them and learn what they were trying to do. March on Washington. The March on Washington, D.C. was the most famous of King's many marches. It took place in 1963 and there were about 250,000 people. They marched from the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial. Many leaders spoke. King was the last speaker. His speech was called the I Have a Dream speech. In his speech, he talked about a dream for the future of America, a dream where all people, black and white, would be equal. Later years. In his later years, King tried to make sure that black people could vote in elections just like white people. He and many people walked for many miles to show they wanted to vote. The police hit the people. Some people had to go to the hospital. People from all the over world saw this on television. In 1965, black people were finally allowed to vote just like white people. Martin Luther King George was killed in 1968. Hope you like my story. For more stories, please share and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.